Mahabharata series. To know the background story of the video, watch the videos linked in the comments below. After their birth, Bhishma took the responsibility of education of Dhritarashtra, Pandu and Vidur. He supervised their learnings till the time they reached adolescence. They had gone through the lessons on political affairs, economics, finances, science of war and weapon handling skills. Vidur, as predicted by Vyas, became the most learned scholar. He became an expert in politics and managing the kingdom. Pandu became an expert in weapon handling, while Dhritarashtra never brought his deficiency as a hurdle in his learnings. Years of education completed, and the young prince Dhritarashtra and Pandu with Vidur returned to Hastinapur. Hastinapur was decorated with flowers, and the palace was decked with divine fragrance to welcome the grown-up princess and the future kings. The weight of years was about to end. The burden on Bhishma's shoulder was about to shift. In the presence of all the courtiers and the royal members, Bhishma made Vidur as the Prime Minister of Hastinapur. Although Dhritarashtra was the elder son, he was not fit to rule the kingdom of Hastinapur due to his blindness, and hence Pandu was crowned as the new king. Hail Pandu, hail Hastinapur! The entire courtroom was filled with praises for their new king. Pandu took over the responsibility gracefully under the guidance of his elder brother Dhritarashtra. Life in Hastinapur started coming back to normal gradually. Time came. Satyavati and Bhishma decided to marry Dhritarashtra. At that point of time, King Subol was ruling over the kingdom of Gandhar. He had a daughter named Gandhari. Lord Shiva had granted her a boon that she would give birth to 100 sons. When Bhishma heard this news, he sent a caravan of hundreds of soldiers with groups of servants carrying jewels, ornaments, and other pricey gifts proceeding towards Gandhar. The excited acolytes with Bhishma reached Gandhar, and Bhishma put the proposal to Subala, the king of Gandhar, stating that he would like the hand of his daughter for Dhritarashtra, the son of Vichitravirya and the prince of the Kuru dynasty. When he received this offer, the king of Gandhar thought that the marriage was beneficial in all aspects, except for the fact that the groom was blind. However, Subala was left with no option but to accept Bhishma's proposal. After all, denying Bhishma's words was like inviting one's own destruction. After arriving at a decision, the king of Gandhar made preparations for the marriage. He sent elephants, horses, chariots, slaves, cows, oxen, palanquins full of jewels and uncountable Brahmins with Shakuni. Gandhari was especially decorated. When she heard that her hand had been given away to a blind groom in marriage, Gandhari decided to do something that nobody had thought of. She folded a white piece of cloth into 100 folds and tied it around her eyes and decided to blindfold herself for the rest of her life. She took this step to show that she had decided to follow the destiny of her husband. Shakuni accompanied his sister to Hastinapur. No sooner than he reached his destination, he immediately offered his sister, who was bedecked with jewels, to Dhritarashtra. After giving her away, along with innumerable elephants, chariots, horses, and jewels, he left for his native kingdom. After the eldest son of the dynasty was married off, Bhishma was now worried about the marriage of Pandu. A Yadava king named Shur, who was also Krishna's grandfather, had a daughter named Pritha. When Shur saw that his cousin Kunti Bhoj was childless, he offered his daughter Pritha to him. Upon being adopted by Kunti Bhoj, Pritha came to be known as Kunti. Once, when the sage Durvasa, known for his bad temper and the curses he had given to Indra, arrived at the house of Kunti Bhoj, Kunti offered him water to wash his feet and other items to worship a guest. She also fed him rice and sweets and washed his feet with her own hands. She always stayed in front of him with folded hands. The sage was satisfied with her humility and blessed her with holy verses, also known as mantra, that had the power to invoke any god she wanted. In order to test the efficacy of the mantra, she uttered the mantra and invoked Surya, the god of sun. Bound by the power of the mantra, Surya Dev, with his yogic power, transferred his stage into the womb of Kunti by entering into her. Surya blessed her with a child. To her surprise, the child was born with his sacred armor on. Out of fear of the disgrace to herself and her family, and with no choice left, Kunti put the child in a basket and set him afloat in the Ganga river. He was later found by a charioteer and his wife, who raised the child and named him Karna. To know the full story of Karna, watch the video linked in the comments below. When Kunti was at the prime of her youth, a Swayamvar was arranged for her. Pritha was delighted at the sight of Pandu, seated amongst the several other kings invited, and accepted him as her husband by putting the garland around his neck. King Bhoj showed his acknowledgement towards Pandu by giving away his daughter. Pandu returned to his kingdom with Kunti. The citizens of Hastinapur were delighted by this marriage. However, Pandu couldn't sire a son for a long while, so Bhishma began thinking about the remarriage of Pandu. He reached out to Shalya, the king of Madra, and asked for his sister Madri to get married to Pandu. Pandu's marriage with Madri also solemnized. Pandu was impressed by the beauty of Madri, but considered both his wives equal. He didn't differentiate between the two. Gradually, Pandu got engaged in routine works of the kingdom. As a king, Pandu had the responsibilities of expanding the dominions of Hastinapur and ensuring no evil eyes pry on the kingdom. He conquered the Dasharna kingdom in the west, King Madrarath of Magad, and several other kingdoms. The kingdoms he conquered gave away elephants, horses, chariots, and variety of jewels and uncountable wealth as tax. The glory of Pandu spread worldwide. It was said that he achieved the same fame as his predecessor, King Bharat. Pandu showed his respect towards his brother by giving away the taxes he had received to Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra showed respect towards his brother as well, through whom he had received this massive wealth. With the wealth he received from Pandu, Dhritarashtra performed a lot of yagyas, including a number of Ashwamedh yagya. He donated a lot of elephants, horses, gold, and land. One day, Pandu was out hunting. He spotted a pair of deer sporting in the forest and shot the male deer with an arrow. But the deer was actually a rishi in disguise. Before his death, the rishi cursed Pandu that he would die if he advances towards his wife for sexual pleasures. Pandu was heartbroken. He couldn't come out of the guilt of killing a rishi, and thus decided to live a life of an ascetic, leaving behind the pleasures and comfort of the palace. His two wives, Kunti and Madri, too went with him. Pandu started living the life of an ascetic, and in his absence, Dhritarashtra, his elder brother, was given the responsibility of the kingdom. He became the caretaker of the throne and started ruling Hastinapur on behalf of his brother.